Hi, Room 13. It's Miss Martinez. How are you? I hope everyone's safe and healthy in their homes and that everyone had a wonderful spring break. So, let's see what Miss Martinez is doing today. So, today we're going to be working on Lesson 8, and the objective for this lesson says use the area model and multiplication to show the equivalence of two fractions. So it looks like we're still working on equivalent fractions, right? Let's see. Well, lesson 8, problem set. Let's read the instructions. It says, it says each rectangle represents 1. For number 1, it says, the shaded fractions have been decomposed into smaller units. Express the equivalent fraction in a number sentence using multiplication. The first one has been done for you. Awesome. So what I did is I'm going to do this same problem here, but I decided to write it here to make it a little bigger, to make it a little clearer for us. But it's the same thing that you have on your assignment. So let's see. First thing that we see is, what do we see? Well, I see 2/3. Well, like I always say, if we pretend this line isn't here, we pretend that it hasn't been decomposed yet, we can see that this area model is 2/3, right? See, the 3 is the whole, and it looks like 2 parts have been shaded, right? Agree or disagree? After we see that, it looks like they want us to multiply, right? Now, we know that we're going to just write that again, 2/3. We're going to write a line. And remember what I told you last time. How many rows after it's been decomposed, and you can use a different colored marker. I always like them. We can see that we decomposed it, and now we have 2 rows. And that's what we're going to use to multiply, right? So 2 times 2 is 4. Yes? 3 times 2 is 6, right? Because remember also, if we multiply it to the top, we have to multiply it to the bottom, right? And let me check my answer. Does that represent my area model? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are shaded. Out of my whole now is not 3, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Let's do B together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing my fraction, and I'm going to pretend that these lines are not here, right? I'm going to pretend that the horizontal lines aren't there and that it hasn't been decomposed yet. So if it hasn't been decomposed yet, I know that my whole is going to be, see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to write 4 as my denominator. Good? Awesome. And out of my 4, how many parts are shaded? Well, it looks like I see 1, 2, 3. 3 parts are shaded. After I decompose my area model, I'm going to go ahead and I can trace that with a colored marker if I want. Makes things easier to understand, right? After I do that, well, I know I'm going to write my equal sign, and I'm going to rewrite my 3/4. And I know I'm going to multiply. But Miss Martinez, what are you going to multiply by? Well, Let's see. How many rows do I see here? Looks like I see 3 rows, right? So let's multiply by 3. And remember, if I multiply it to the top, yep, you're right. I have to multiply it to the bottom. 3 times 3 now, I know is 9, right? And 4 times 3 is 12. Well, let me see. Let me check my answer. Let's see if my number sentence, let's see if this matches my area model, right? Well, it looks like I'm saying that my 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12. So that means that 9 parts must be shaded out of 12. Do I have 12 now as my whole? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I do. And how many parts of those 12s are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Check. We got this, right? Go ahead and see if you can do the rest on your own, okay? Now, let's see what else Miss Martinez wants to do. Let's go ahead and try to do 2A together. Why not, right? For number 2, for 2A, I'll bring this back. For 2A, it says, decompose the shaded fraction into smaller units, as given below. Express the equivalent fraction in a number sentence using multiplication. Okay, and it says decompose into tenths. Okay, so went ahead and redid my problem here to just, make the work a little clearer. So I see. They want us to decompose it into tenths. Okay, well, how can I do that? Let's see. Well, I see here. How many parts do I see in my whole here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5, and I have to decompose it by, I have to decompose it to make tenths. What if I do this? What do we think, room 13? Do you think Miss Martinez made tenths now? Well, why don't we go ahead and see if we can work this problem out, okay? So the first thing I want to do is, before actually I should have done that, but I think we all get the hang of it, right? I'm going to write my fraction here as a whole. So I see, how many parts are in my whole here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like I said earlier. So I'm going to write 5. And how many parts of those 5 are shaded? 1, 2, 3. Good? Everyone with me? Wonderful. Now I'm going to use multiplication. Now after I decompose my fraction, right? So I'm going to rewrite my original fraction here. And I know I'm going to multiply. But what am I going to multiply by? Well, let's see. After I decompose my fraction, I made, let's see, 1, 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 2. Is 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, right? And 5 times 2 is, yep, you got it, 10. So does that mean that my 3/5 is no longer 3/5? I've made it into 6/10. Let me check. Should I check to see if my number sentence matches my area model? Sure, let's go ahead. So now my whole is not fifths, right? It's tenths, because remember, that's what they ask us to do, right? They ask us to decompose into tenths. So that's what we did. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, I have tenths. And how many parts of those tenths are shaded now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I? Oh, I sure did. I got 6. So looks like we're doing awesome, right? Wonderful. Now let's see, what else should we do together? Why don't we go ahead and let's see what Miss Martinez wanted to do with you. Let's do number 3A together. It says, draw an area model to prove that the following number sentences are true. Got it. So it looks like they're giving us the fractions and we have to draw the area model, right? No problem. Can we do this? Sure, no problem, right? Well, the first thing I would do is I would start with this fraction to draw my area model. And it looks like I'm going to need fifths, right? Because this is my whole for the first part. Let's just focus on this fraction first. So, sure, I can do fifths. Why not? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, and I'm gonna do fifths. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and one more line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I do fifths? Yep, I sure did. Now, how many part of those fifths? How many part of those fifths am I going to shade? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm going to shade 2 parts. So I can use my cool colored marker. I'm going to shade 2 parts. Well, after I shade my 2 parts, I probably need to decompose my area model, right? Looks like I'm going to have to end up with tenths. How do I know that? Because that's what the problem is telling me, right? That the 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. So I know I need to make this into tenths. So what if I do this? What do you think? What do we think, room 13? Would that work? Sure. And I could even, right here, I'm going to go ahead and do my fraction. I'm going to write 2/5 equals, and I'm going to write 2/5 again. And I know we're going to multiply, right? How many rows did Miss Martinez make now? Looks like 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2. 2 times 2 is, yes, 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Whoa, does it look like Miss Martinez followed direction? Did we all follow directions? I think we did. We decomposed 2/5 and we made 4/10, right? Go ahead and do the rest of the questions on your own. You got this, room 13.